dear student, myself Professor Monal Santosh Ugle, Assistant Professor in Civil Engineering Department of Kekewak Institute of Engineering Education and Research, Nasik. Today we are going to discuss the introduction of surveying and construction and use of prismatic compass under the subject of surveying. Subject scheme will be mentioned in this slide. It includes 3-hour theory lecture and 4-hour practical per week. Then in the examination scheme it includes in same exam is for 30 marks and the duration is 1 hour, and in same exam is for 70 marks and the duration is 2.5 hour. Let us start with the next, which is the credit system of the serving subject is for 3 credits are there for the theoretical paper and 2 credit is for the lab session. Then let us start with the today's topic, which is unit 1, compass and leveling. It contained definition and importance of surveying, then principle of surveying, objective and fundamental classification of surveying, concept of scale, ranging, chaining, offset, transversing, construction and use of prismatic compass, concept of bearing, types of bearing such as whole circular bearing and quadrilateral bearing. So these points today we will discuss in this session. So let us start with the introduction of surveying. So in that, first, in importance of surveying. So the knowledge of surveying is advantageous in many phases of engineering. The first necessary in surveying is to prepare a plan and a section of an area to be covered by the project. From these prepared maps and the section, the best possible alignment, amount of earthwork and other necessary details depending upon the nature of the project can be calculated. The planning and design of all the civil engineering projects such as railways, highways, tunneling, irrigation, dams, reservoirs, waterwork, sewage work, airfield, port, massive building, etc. are based on the surveying measurements. Then during the execution of the project of any magnitude is constructed along the lines and points established by the surveying. So these are the importance of the surveying. Then one more importance are there, which is surveying is used to prepare a topographic map of a land surface of the earth. Then next, introduction about the surveying. So in that, basically surveying or the land surveying is the technique or the profession, art and the science of determining the terrestrial or the three-dimensional position of the points and the distance and the angle between them. Then surveying is the process of analyzing and recording the characteristics of a land area span to help design a plan or the map of construction. Generally today we use the total station is preferred for the surveying in the surveying industry. In the surveying is also defined as the science of making measurements of the earth, especially the earth surface. Then next is the objectives of the surveying. So in that objective, to determine the relative position of any object or the points of the earth. Then to determine the distance and the angle between the object. Then to prepare or plan to represent an area on the horizontal plane, to develop methods through the knowledge of modern science and the technology and use them in a field, to solve measurement problems in an optimal ways. So these are the objectives of the surveying. In that also, one more is there, which is to find out the absolute direction by the measuring horizontal angles with reference to the fixed direction. Also to find out the relative direction of lines by measuring the horizontal angles with reference to the any arbitrary direction. So these are the some objectives which we can consider while doing the surveying. Then next next we explain the use of surveying. In that, to prepare the map or the plan, this is the basic use of this surveying. So in that, topological map showing the hills, rivers, towns, village, forest, etc. are prepared by surveying. Then for planning and estimating new engineering project like water supply and irrigation scheme, mines, road, railroads, bridges, transmission lines, buildings, etc. Uh, Surveying is required. Then to prepare cadastral map. So in that cadastral map, it shows the boundaries of field houses and other properties are prepared by using this surveying. Then next to prepare engineering map. In that engineering map, it shows the position of engineering works like roads, railways, buildings, dams, canals, etc. Are prepared through this surveying. The next use of this surveying is to set out a work and transfer the detail from map to ground. Knowledge of surveying is used for planning navigation routes and harbors. Marine and hydrographic surveying are used to help military strategic planning. Military maps and prepared by the which are prepared by this surveying. Then also for the exploring the mineral wealth, mine survey is necessary. Then to determine the different strata in the earth crust, geological surveys are required. Then most important, archaeological surveys are used to earth the release inequality. So these are the different uses of this surveying. So then next point is classification of surveying. So in that classification of surveying, basically the surveying is divided into the four types. It is also different according to the different classification. So in that, number one, based on the accuracy desired. Second one, based on the purpose of survey. Then third, based on the place of survey. Fourth, based on the instrument used. So let us start with one by one. So in that, based on the accuracy desired, in that first one is the plane survey. So in this plane survey, uh, the earth the curvature of the earth is to be considered as a plane. This type of survey is applicable for the small area which is less than 250 km square. This method is used for the planning of factories, bridges, dams, location and construction of canals, highways, railways, and also for establish the boundaries. So this is these all things are included in the plane survey. Then in the second type, which is geodetic survey, so this is also known as trigonometric surveying. So in this branch of surveying, the true shape of the earth which is taken into consideration. This type of surveying is being carried out for the highly precise work and is adopted for surveying of large area. A line connecting two points is recorded as an arc. The distance between 2 points is corrected for the curvature and is then plotted on a plan. The angle between intersecting lines are spherical angles. The geodetic surveying deals in fixing widely spaced control points which may afterward be used as a necessary control point for the fixing minor control point for the plane survey. Then this is the carried out by Department of National Survey of India. Geodetic surveys are conducted with highest degree of accuracy to provide widely spaced control points on the earth surface for the subsequent plane surveys. Geodetic survey required the use of spherical instrument, a accurate method for the observation and their computation with the accurate adjustment. To eliminate the errors in observation due to the refraction, angular observation are generally restricted to night and arc lamp are used as a signal on the survey station. So this is all about the based on the accuracy of desire. Then next type is based on the purpose of survey. So it includes these six type of survey, in that engineering survey, defense survey, geological survey, geographical survey, mine survey, archaeological survey. So let us start with the discussion one by one. So in the engineering survey, it is also known as construction survey. So it is used for the design of engineering project such as highways, railways, water supply, sewage disposal, reservoir, bridges, etc. So it consists of topographical survey of area, measurement of earthwork, providing grades and making measurements of completed work till date. So this is all included in this engineering survey. Then second type, which is the defense survey. So it is very important and critical application in the military purpose. So they are provide the strategic information that can decide the course of a war. Then it is also used for the preparing the tactical and the strategic plans for both for the defense and the attack. So this is the second type of survey, which is defense survey. Then third one is the geological survey. In that geological survey, both surface and subsurface surveying is required to determine the location, extent and reserves of different mineral and rock type, also used to decide upon the foundation treatment of important engineering projects such as dams, bridges, highways, etc. So this is all about the geological survey. Then fourth type, which is the geographical survey. So in that geographical survey conducted to provide sufficient data for a topographic survey, then that is source and intensity of irrigation, surface drainage, slope height curve and slope profile and contours. Then next one is the mine survey. So in this, both surface and underground surveys are required, used for tunnel shaft construction, preparation of a geological map, a surface map, which included in this mine survey. Then next one is archaeological survey. So these are done to unearth the relief of the Nekpisi civilization, kingdom, town, village, forts, temples, etc. Buried due to the earthquake, landslide, or other calamities, and are located, marked, and identified. And next one is there, which is the route survey. So in that, route survey is very important in this type of surveying. In that, basically four type of surveys are there, which is reconnaissance survey, preliminary survey, control survey and the location survey. So these are the based on the purpose of the survey. Then next type, which is based on the place of the survey. So in that again four types are there, which is land survey, hydrological survey, underground survey, aerial survey. So let us start with first, which is land survey. So in that land survey, it is again subdivided into the three types, which is topographical survey, cadastral survey and city survey. Then next one is there, which is the hydrographic survey. So it deals with the surface of water bodies like streams, lakes, coastal waters, and consist of acquiring data to chart the shoreline of water bodies. Then next type is there, which is the underground survey. So this is used for the preparation of underground plans and fixing the position and direction of tunnels, shaft and drive, etc. So these are included in the underground survey. Then next fourth type is there, which is the aerial survey. So this is very expensive type of survey, and this survey is carried out by taking photographs with a camera fitted in an aeroplane, and it is called as aerial survey. So this is the third type of survey, which is the based on the place of survey. Is it right? Then next type is there, which is the based on the instrument use. So these are the instrument which is used for the surveying purpose. So this is again divide into the number of types, which is chain survey, traverse survey, tachymetry survey, leveling, plane tabling, triangulation, EDM, electronic distance meter survey, total station survey, and satellite base survey. So these are the different type of instrument which is used in the surveying. So this is the classification of survey. Then next we discuss about the scale. So basically, what is meant by scale? Scale, the scale of a map is the ratio of a distance on a map to the corresponding distance on a ground. So it is the basically ratio is there. Then this simple concept is complicated by the curvature of the earth surface, which forces scale to vary across a map. Then because of this variation, the concept of scale becomes meaningful into two distinct ways. So the first way is the ratio of size of generating globe to the size of earth, and the second, the generation globe, is a conceptual model to which the earth is struck and from which the map is projected. So this is all about the scale. In that again different type of scale is there, and according to the purpose we can use that scale. So basically, uh, according to the suggestion, for the land survey, topographical survey, building site, route survey, town planning, different type of scale is there. So in that, for the land survey, we can consider 1 centimeter is equal to 5 meter to the 50 meter. Then topographical survey, 1 centimeter is equal to 0.25 kilometer to 2.5 kilometer. Then in a building site we can consider 1 centimeter is equal to 10 meter. Then in a route survey, 1 centimeter is equal to 100 meter. Then in a town planning we can consider the 1 centimeter is equal to 100 meter. So these are the suggestions which are given by the IRC for the plotting the map and the plan. Then in that types of scales are there. So in that basically 2 to 3 types are there. In that plane scale, diagonal scale, vernier scale is there. In that plane scale, it is one of which it is possible to measure 2 dimension only. And in the second type of scale, which is the diagonal scale, it is possible to measure 3 dimension such as meter, decimeter, and the centimeter, and the unit is tens, hundreds, yards, feet, and inches. And next one is vernier scale. It is a device used for measuring the fractional part of one of the smallest division of a gradual scale. So this is nothing but the scale. Then next point we'll discuss about the ranging. So basically, what is meant by ranging? Ranging is nothing but the process or the method to determine the distance from one location or the position to the another location or the position. So this is nothing but the ranging. In that ranging basically 2 types are there, which is direct ranging and indirect ranging. So in that this method of locating or establishing the intermediate point on a straight line between two fixed point or the two survey station is called as ranging. In that direct ranging again 2 types are there, which is ranging by eye and ranging by line ranger, and second type which is the indirect ranging. So this diagram shows that the direct ranging by eye. So see here one man is standing at station A, and here the rods are fixing uh, rod number 1, 2 means first point and last point is fixed, and according to that we have to mark a line in between these two fixed point, is it right? So according to that we have to plot the third rod and the fourth rod by the eye judgment, is it right? So this is nothing but the ranging. So we'll see the types of ranging. In that direct ranging by eye, is the first type. So in that, we have to fix the first point and last point, and our intervisible points we have to fix. It is called as direct when the intermediate ranging rods are placed in line by direct observation from either ends. So in this figure shows that the intervisible station means rod 3 and rod 4, in which the intermediate point is to be located. So this is there of this direct ranging. Then next one is indirect ranging. So in that indirect ranging, this is the diagram. In that it shows that, so first point which is there at point A, and last point which is point B, and we have to mark the line from this A to B, so that we have to see the first point from this side, and we have to mark the M and N point. So this method is used when two ends of survey station or the survey line are not intervisible. So this is nothing but the indirect ranging. Next we see about the chaining. So this diagram is nothing, this diagram shows the chain. In that different type of chains are there. 30-meter chain, 60-meter chains are available in the market. So what is by chain surveying? So the chain surveying is the branch of surveying in which only linear measurements are made in the field. This is suitable for the survey of small area with simple detail and an area that is fairly flat. It derives its name from the fact that the principal equipment commonly used is the chain. Then in that, what is my chainage? Chainage is nothing but an imaginary line used to measure distance, often corresponding to the center of a straight rod, then distinct measured along such a line. It is a distance of a well defined point from the starting point. In the chain survey, it is normally referred to as the distance of foot of offset from the starting point on the chain line. Then suitable for the chain survey. So the chain survey is suitable in the following cases. The areas to be surveyed is comparatively small, then the ground is fairly level, then the area is open, and the detail to be filled up are simple and less. So then and then only we can use this chaining operation. So this is all about the chaining. Then next point is offset. So in that offset, different types are there. Then next one is field book. So you know that field book, in that field book we have to fill the measurement. So all observation and measurements taken during the chain surveying are to be recorded in a standard book, which is nothing but the field book. It is an oblique book of a size 200 mm by 120 mm, which can be carried in the pocket. So there are two form of field books are there: single line field book and the double line field book. According to the purpose of survey work, we can use any type of field book. Then next point is offset. So in that offset, um, are the lateral measurement from the baseline to fix the position of the different object of the work with respect to the baseline. Then these are generally set at a right angle of offset. It can also be drawn with the help of tape. There are two kind of offset: perpendicular offset, and second one is oblique offset. So uh, the measurement are taken at a right angle to the survey line called as perpendicular or the right angle offset, and for the setting the perpendicular offset, any one of the following method is used. So in that, swinging, then using cross staff, and using optical or the prism square. So this is all about the perpendicular offset. Then next point is there, which is traversing. So what is by traversing? Basically it is a method uh, the field of the surveying to establish control network. Traverse network involves the placing the survey station along a line or a path of travel, and then using the previously surveyed point R as a base for the observing next point. Or you can also consider the next, which is the survey traversing is one in which the formwork consists of a series of connected lines, the length and the direction of which are measured with a chain or tape and with the angular measurement respectively. So this is nothing but the traversing. So in that traversing is that type of survey in which a number of connected survey lines form the formwork, and the direction and the length of the survey lines are measured with the help of angle measurement instrument, which is the theodolite, and the tape or chain respectively. So linear measurement we can done with the help of tape or chain, and the angular measurement we can done with the help of theodolite. Then next types of surveying means traversing is there, which is there are basically two types are there, which is closed traverse. So in that closed traverse, when the line forms a circuit which ends the starting point, it is also known as closed traverse. The closed traverse is suitable for locating the boundaries or of lake, woods, etc., and for the survey of large area. Then second type is there, which is the open traverse. Generally this open traverse survey is used for the open lines, means the railway, canal, pipeline, cadastral, highway, transmission line, is it right? So when the line forms a circuit ends elsewhere except starting point, it is said to be open traverse. The open traverse is suitable for the surveying along narrow strip of land as required for the road of the canal or the gas line. So this is nothing but the open traversing. Then next point is there, which is the methods of traversing. So in that there are several method of traversing depending on the instrument used in determining the relative direction of the traverse lines. So the following principal methods are there in the traversing. In that chain traversing, then chain and compass traversing, then transit type of traversing. In that two types are there, by fast needle method, and second by measurement of angle between the lines, then plane table traversing. So these are the method of traversing. So in this way we are conclude with this point of the traversing. In the next slide we will discuss about the construction and use of prismatic compass. So thank you all.